doing his job.
Right,
but, like,
I was going to say, he is a teacher.
Yeah. Let's get the word from the man himself, Chris Atarian. Is he here? He's got to be here. He's listening to us right now, right? There he is. Boom. The bald brethren. Let me get that bald check before you go into it. No, I'm joking. There we go.
You already know. You gotta.
you just slap a slice of cheese on there, and if it sticks, you know you're ready. But hey, first and foremost, man, congrats, champ. Nice work.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Sorry, I can't join in this this bald fest over here. So but you know what? To be fair, I can never grow a beard like you can. Okay, I mean that's epic. So
I mean, you can't have the best of both worlds. If you can grow this type of beard with the hair that you have, then I have to have a beard. If I don't have a beard, it's not gonna look good.
It's not the same. At least you can grow one. You talk about the best of both worlds. I can't even grow one of either. But enough about us.
You got to stash.
I'm trying, man. I still have a picture of Chris T on my mirror. I'm like, you know what? How do I shape it this exact way? But what I want to really know is how do I shape myself to become a champion like you have, right? Taking a look at the different looks that you had to give from each of your opponents in your current runs, right? The closest you were to actually falling was not even just in like your top 16 performance to Eduardo, but also like in this matchup as well. I was looking at it earlier. Your matchup against Speed Kicks was also pretty damn close. Another jury, right? How different was it in comparison to playing all the other juries and all the other Kens up until the point where it's grand finals against Nephew? Because taking a look at that reset, that had to be something you had to pull out from out of nowhere. Like your change-ups were so different. Can you kind of describe what types of different looks you had against Nephew going into the grand finals initially and then also after the reset?
Okay, so let me start off by saying it's very difficult when you have to go through Speed Kicks and PR Rog and then Nephew as well. I mean, I've been playing against Speed Kicks lately, so I felt relatively fresh in the matchup. He's an amazing player, and obviously PR Rog is PR Rog, right? He's that guy just had a kid, and he's still playing at an insane level. Jury is just a matchup where I feel like Ken players don't feel too comfortable against Jury. I know I've talked about that matchup a lot with Angry Bird and Phenom, and they both kind of feel the same way. But obviously Nephew is the best Jury right now in America, and him and I always have great matches. I mean, I was just telling my stream right now, you don't ever want to win a tournament against somebody that's kind of easy, You want to win a tournament against the hardest opponent. And back in the day, it used to be Snake Eyes. If I didn't win Wednesday Night Fights against Snake Eyes, it didn't really count. So, so shout outs to Nephew for that. He always pushes me to become a better player, and hopefully I push him to become a better player as well. I know that he's going to come back stronger. In regards to my mindset, I think going into grand finals, when you're on winner's side, you are more likely to take risks in order to test the waters a little bit. You have to take some sort of risk in order to test the water because you have a lot of matches to lose. You have a lot of matches to download. So I felt like I was using more Dragon Lashes in the first set in grand finals, and Nephew was dealing with that really well. And I felt like I was playing impatient whenever the neutral became dead. And by dead, I mean very, very tense. So I was walking into a lot of low forwards, and I wasn't making the proper defensive decisions where I just wanted the round to end. Sometimes, I know Vicious, you could attest to this as well, you get in a mindset where you just want the round to be over, and you start making such terrible decisions defensively and offensively in neutral. So the grand finals it's a bit weird to dissect, because when you're on winner's side, you just have this natural confidence to take more risk because you're on winner's side, and he has to play absolutely perfectly. And when he beat me dominantly in that 5th match to reset the bracket, I was like, oh crap, okay, I really have to calm down right now and check some of those drive rushes that he was doing, because he was having a field day with doing drive rush against me in the last 2 matches that he won in the winner's side. So that's what my focus started turning into, was I wanted to start parrying those drive rushes, but the one time that I did it, he actually threw my parry attempt. So I tried to react to it more with crouching medium kick, which I clipped them once, and then more stand medium kicks as well, which I got some counter hits on that as well. So I felt like when I shut that down, it became a lot more of an honest type of neutral match. I wasn't doing as many Dragon Lashes anymore. And one of the, sorry, I'm rambling at the moment. I'm just trying to
No.
This is
we
my
need
thoughts.
this.
I love this.
We need
I
this.
love this.
Actually.
So something that you cannot do against someone like Nephew or just an amazing player is when you're about to win, they just go into ultra instinct god mode where their reactions are on point and their decision making is just on point. It's so hard to kill somebody like Nephew. So I felt like that was getting the better end of me in the first set, and towards the last set I was making better decisions to close out the round. It's very difficult to close out the round in against someone like Nephew. So I wanted to make sure that my decision making was sound and as least risky as possible. Obviously, not get hit by low forward into drive rush as well. I mean, you just don't want to get clipped with medium punch, medium punch, medium punch, medium punch into plus, 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 plus. So, I mean, I could dissect that whole set, but in essence, in the reset, I wanted to have a bit more patience and breathe a little bit more when the neutral was becoming tense. And obviously, sometimes you make mistakes, but you got to be able to bounce back from that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, when they play fighting games, see the matches and stuff, they don't realize how much of it really is just kind of that mental game, like trying to keep yourself calm and everything. Like you said, you just get desperate, and I call it mental fatigue when you just want it to be over and you just keep making these horrible decisions and stuff. But I mean, speaking of the mental aspect of everything, I mean, sorry, I mean, obviously, I'm talking to you here. I want to know your feelings on this, but obviously the Evo thing was, you know, very disappointing. I mean, how do you stay confident and, you know, mentally prepared going in here without having a chance to really show what you are capable of on that grand stage and maybe even potentially take that tournament?
I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I believe that Angry Bird deserved that Evo, and he's trained harder than anybody that I've seen. I mean, I'm in a group chat with him. That guy is robotic at this moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have been able to win Evo. Realistically speaking, I played Angry Bird before he played in like top 48 or top 16. I just ran a first to 10 with him just to run it. That man beat me 10-1. So it was a wake-up call on what am I doing that is wrong right now, because this man is playing a different game than I am. In the Ken mirror, keep in mind, I'm extremely confident against any Ken player. And I typically don't lose against Ken, you know? And when you get 10-1, it humbles you, and you have to take a step back and think, okay, what can I learn from the set that I just played? And honestly, I learned a lot from playing against Angry Bird. Just losing that first to 10, I'm watching what he's doing. So I don't think I would have been able to win Evo. Obviously, I have enough faith to know that I could have gotten very far. But in my opinion, I think Mena and Angry Bird are the two best players in the world. Obviously, you throw in Kakeru in there as well. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Evo. You know, everything happens for a reason. Thank God that I'm healthy. I was able to get there on, you know, and me, Mena, and Kaba ended up winning the High Rollers tournament, so I was blessed to at least have that W.
Cheater team, man.
But I wanted to actually address something that you just said, James, because I was mentioning this earlier for people in the chat. Maybe this could help out some people as well. In terms of that mental fatigue and that mental rush to want to end the round. Something that I learned from my favorite philosopher, his name is Alan Watts. There's a video where he talks about how treating everything in life like a dance. So what he means is, and I'm gonna butcher this, but I'll try my best to explain it. What he means is, when you dance with somebody, you don't enjoy dancing with them before the dance starts in the beginning. You don't enjoy that, right? And you don't enjoy the end of the dance either. What makes the dance memorable and when you vibe with somebody is the middle of the dance. It's when you're in the present moment dancing with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And he said, treat everything that you do like you're in a dance. If you focus on the end of the dance, you're not going to have fun. If you focus on the beginning, you're not going to have fun. You might be too nervous or whatever. It's only when you actually do it and you're in the moment. The flow of the dance is what makes it beautiful. And the flow of the dance in Street Fighter, the middle of the round is what creates greatness. It's not just the end of the round, it's everything that happened in the middle of the round. So when your brain starts going into the, I just want to win, I want to end this round, you have to take a step back and be like, wait, I want to pull off some sick shit. So that way, when I do win, it means even more. So you can use that not just for dancing, but even for driving. The point of the drive isn't the end of the destination. We enjoy driving because of the actual action of driving. So that's something that could help people that are struggling with, I'm choking or I'm thinking too much about winning and then I end up losing the round.
Yeah. The only time I don't enjoy driving is being stuck on the 405, but I totally
Absolutely.
get the analogy. That's one thing we could all agree on. But no, I mean, like talking about like the that middle part of the dance is so crucial, right? Because that's where it kind of becomes like a free flow state. You actually rely on so much of your training and your muscle memory that kind of lets you be in that free flow state, kind of like Ultra Instinct, where you're just like, you know, and recognize the situation, you have the answer for it, and you're trying to go back and forth with that player instead of just focusing too much on the end result. And what's funny is Angry Bird said something very similar to that, where he's like, you know what, I play without even looking at the life bar. I mostly attack the drive gauge, but for the most part, I'm playing just to play. I'm not even looking at the life bar anymore. And that's coming from him exactly too.
Right. And he said like he's not afraid to lose, and you can't be afraid to lose. You have to, there's a certain level of confidence you have to have in yourself. I believe that you must be humble, but you also have to have confidence and check your ego when that confidence starts turning into cockiness. You get what I'm saying? So
No doubt.
You said something about, you know, how do you have that mental fortitude to come in and be confident, whatever. It's like you have to know who you are at the end of the day. You have accolades to your name, you have success, so you have to know that you're just as much of a threat as nephew, you know, and I'm sure he's thinking the same exact thing. So you can't have fear when you play. You have to be a lion. You ever look at a lion's eyes? It's the most beautiful thing in the world. If you ever look at a lion's eyes,
to be honest with you, brother, I was trying to stay away from that, bro.
you know, here's the thing, like if you go to a zoo or you just watch some National Geographic, just look at their eyes. When they look at their prey, there is no fear inside of their eyes, you know, and that's the type of look you want to have when you play.
Yeah. That's the confidence of doing the same thing over and over and over again too, right? Like it's once you're familiar with those situations and put in the grind time to be ready for any sort of activity that comes your way, then that's where you get that kind of confidence. That's where you get like the lion's eye.
Absolutely.
That's the Tokido. That's murder face, dude. Right? I mean, honestly, that's.
I don't want to stare into Tokido's eyes either, man. To be honest with you.
Man, just to share this as well, at Capcom Cup last year, something that really helped me out mentally was I was talking to Tokido and I said, hey man, like, do you ever get nervous? Because when you look at Tokido, you just don't see nerves, you know, the way he trains with the measuring stick, all of that. And he looked at me and he was like, the worst feeling is when I prepare so hard for a tournament and then I get on stage and then I choke. And when he said that to me, I was like, damn, even this guy chokes. Yeah. If this guy has moments of weakness, he's a human, I'm a human. When I go through it as well, then it's okay. I just got to bounce back stronger the next time. The goal isn't to eliminate fear and nerves. The goal is to accept the nerves and fear and overcome it.
And channel it in a different way. I mean, a similar story. The first year that Capcom Cup got into the stadium, there was the stadium with Street Fighter 4. It was NorCal. It was in that stadium with the tier. It had the balcony.
Yeah. I remember. That's the one that Momochi won.
Yes, yeah. PR Balrog, who was in the tournament, obviously here, said that he came out and he looked at the crowd and the two tiers, and he said he got super nervous, you know? And so a lot of people always ask me, how do you get past the nerves when you play in high-level tournaments? And the answer is you don't. You just have to learn how to channel it and, you know, like you said, accept it and use it.
Use it, yeah, definitely. And practice helps. A lot of people get nervous because they haven't been practicing enough. Like Fudo said, you want to enter a match knowing every single detail that your opponent can do and every single detail that you can do. You want to be ready for every situation. And when you're ready for every situation, you eliminate so much of that fear. That fear begins to dwindle a little bit because you already have so much to be afraid of. You have to check so many things. You have to think, what's my opponent thinking? What am I thinking? Am I getting bodied? Etc. 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 The last thing you want to think is, oh wait, what is this setup? Is this plus or minus on block? You get what I'm saying? You want to have the game down completely and then approach the sports psychology aspect of it.
Man, I feel like this alone could be like the podcast right here. This is where you clip it on your YouTube, your whatever podcast channel you have going on. Like I almost lost track of time. I forgot we were already doing a tournament. But James, I don't know if you had like a final question. I also have a final question for Chris.
Go ahead.
what is your objective now outside of just winning? Are there any personal players that you're looking forward to here going into this weekend's West tournament for CPT?
I think everyone is going to be very strong in this CPT, especially the people that were in this top 8. They're going to be training hard for it. You already know people like JB, Nephew, Strider. Like the top 8 from this tournament will most likely be in the top 8 of the CPT. Throw in some other players as well, but everybody is extremely strong. So there's not like a single player, you know.
Okay.
I have to ask though. This is where I'm gonna call you out, Chris. Let's say you're in the grand final scenario. Who would you want to fight off against in grand finals?
You said you want to play the best in grand finals. Who do you want?
Who do you want to play against in grand finals, Chris?
James Chen.
He's not allowed to play. Sorry, try again.
No, that's too free. That's too free of a win.
He's not allowed to play in the grand. He's not allowed to play in the CPT. You can't say me either. I know it's
honestly,
not gonna be me. So
honestly, it's. I mean, it would be great if it was Nephew again, because I feel like he's, you know, top 3 on the West Coast and has been for a very long time. But if I play against Chris, CCH, Nephew, Strider, anybody, it's going to feel really good if I do win. So there isn't like a specific player. I just know that these guys are killers.
Yeah, that one's also going to have a Justin Wong in there potentially too.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to play against Justin. Yeah, I don't want to play against Justin because Justin,
he's a modern master now. I don't know.
He's yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't played Justin yet in this game, and knowing Justin Wong, it's never a good time to play against Justin. So I hope I don't run into him.
Well, my only last question, honestly, is I want to ask you, is there anybody you'd like to thank? Anybody like you train with or anything like that? Or, you know, shout outs, plug yourself, plug your streams, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, I got to thank God because everything that I've gone through for the past month to 2 months it's been a living nightmare. I've gone through a lot over the past couple of months. So I got to thank God for keeping me healthy and keeping me alive in a lot of those situations. So I would also like to thank the players that I've been playing against, the players that I hit up on Twitter and run sets against. You know, obviously Speed Kicks has been playing against me lately, and F-Champ as well, Danny Pham. You know, a lot of these players that are just the homies and they're always down to run sets against you. Obviously shout outs to Mena as well. I mean, I've been playing against Mena like crazy, and it's a very good feeling when you have the best player in the world as a training partner and just talking about the game and whatnot. So there's a lot of players to thank, but obviously, you know, Mena, he's been training with me a lot lately. So shout outs to Mena, and you know, shout outs to everybody that is supporting me. I really appreciate all the love that I've been getting. Been getting a tremendous amount of support from everybody, and yeah, I appreciate everything. Appreciate Level Up as well for setting this up, and Tavai always handling, you know.
Yeah, and of course, shout outs to Good Netcode.
Oh yeah,
letting you play Mena across the country.
Thank God. Oh dude, it's a great feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
Over at Chris_Tatarian on Twitter, as well as on Instagram, as well as on YouTube, as well as on Twitch.tv, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
well, YouTube is just Chris Tatarian. I'm so close to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you guys can sub to the YouTube, that would be really appreciated. That would be really, really appreciated.
There you go. There you go. And again, obviously, you can see the man here spitting here in this interview, giving you all the good philosophies and also the good mindset. Again, as I mentioned, fighting games is so much about mindset, and the way that you talk about fighting games, Chris, the way that you approach it with so much of the mental aspect and the philosophy, it's obvious why you're so strong in the game. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you guys.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, man, I'm glad you're keeping it up with everybody else in the pro world. I'm glad you're not a commentator because your voice is actually OD. So thank you for not taking our jobs, bro.
One day it's gonna happen.
Chris. Nope, not here.
No,
not today.
Stay playing. Stay playing.
Hey, honestly, look, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm honestly just gonna throw this out there. I really think it would be a great thing if we have a tournament or some format within CBT or something where there is a top player that can break down what is happening after a match. Something like F-Word had done that an analysis desk would be beautiful, and I would love to be a part of something like that because, not to toot my own horn, but I understand the game at a very high level, and I also want to use this voice that you're talking about. So I definitely want to be able to get into that, you know?
I'm telling Capcom never to let that happen. I do not want that voice. I don't want that voice to come in here and start getting and you know making people swoon. Okay, let's just
I got you.
That's not fair. You can only be good at one thing right now, Chris. Sorry, man. Try again next year.
Okay, no problem.
Obviously, it's all jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Tatarian, your champ for US West World Warrior #1. You can see him again this weekend participating for the CPT qualifier. You guys don't want to miss that. Chris, thanks for having us. And no, thank you for your time as well.
Appreciate you guys, man. Shout out to everybody. Much love.
All right. Peace.
Have a blessed one.
And there you have it. I mean, I felt like we could have just did that for hours. It could have been its own stream.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna say that's why I said thanks for having us, because we were the ones like throwing in all the questions for him. Like there's so much that I want to ask him in regards to like high level mentality, high level gameplay.